You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And another profitable week. Not a huge
three
profit.
Out of the last four. Oh, when you don't hit all three with the small stakes we're betting, you're never going to have a huge profit. But what did we make? We bet 30, 140, 150. So what's that? 30%?
Yeah, over almost 35, 37%.
Yeah, so it's not terrible.
No, and it was a hard week, I found. Nothing came easy for us. I mean, we bet on Houston. We'll talk more about the games we bet on, but yeah. So, last week, I just want to bring this up. Leonard Cohen died on Friday, and I've been a huge fan of Leonard Cohen since high school, but the last time I'd really sat down and listened to his records was the Saturday night before opening day in Vegas. It was about 3 a.m. Shelly had gone to sleep, and I was just working on my football bets, which turned out really well. Put on a few of his records, a couple of tracks about gambling. It was awesome. Fremont Street was going on in the distance. It had a post-apocalyptic feel. I'm going to miss new stuff from him, though I haven't listened to the new record yet.
Well, the first single off it I've heard, and he's got a line in it about him dying. Like, this is it, I'm ready to go kind of thing. So I don't know if he was sick or knew something or just was the normal, okay, I'm 82, I'm close to the end.
Lines about death are not uncommon in Leonard Cohen's work.
Okay, well, it seemed kind of creepy.
He was 30. Yeah, no.
Because it's like, you want it dark,
so.
We take away the light.
Yeah, you want darkness. Yeah.
It's a pretty good song, and I've been listening to a lot of Leonard Cohen stuff, but that song was really good.
Well, the song that started me in Vegas, it starts, the ponies run, the girls are young, the odds are there to beat. You win a while, and then it's done, your little winning streak. So, as I said, I mean, I think he saw life as sort of a gamble and sort of all of that. So I'm really going to miss him, though. So I just wanted to say that. Simply because, too, I did my football bets for week 1 to a steady diet of Leonard Cohen in Vegas.
Well, you need to listen to him before we do our picks.
That's what I was thinking. It's our new theme music. Of course, that song I quoted then continues with, "You're summoned now to deal with your invincible defeat." So it's not, like you're going to get rich betting on Cohen.
No.
So to recap our games from last week, our loser was Atlanta. We had the money line against Philly. I cannot get Philly right to save my life. I actually think they're a very good team, but whenever I bet on them, they shit the bed. Well,
and we weren't looking terrible. Atlanta took the lead early in the fourth, 15-13 on a long touchdown pass to Gabriel.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, that's looking good. They hung around long enough for Philly to make a mistake. And then Philly scored the next 10 points. And
there was it was
11
third
points.
Or fourth down. You and I were on the phone at the time it happened. And Julio Jones, probably my favorite receiver in the game, gets hit on a 3rd and long. It's in his hands and his chest, and just a flat-out drop.
And then he dropped another one, didn't he?
It wasn't really a drop. I was kind of angry at that point. It would have been a circus catch. It was something you've seen Julio do before, but to blame him for it is unfair to him. But it is the kind of catch that we've grown accustomed to with that guy. So, what can you do? I figure it had to happen at some point. I really do like this Philly team, particularly the defense.
Yeah.
But they are that team that I cannot get right. You know, we had them against the Giants the week before. Carson Wentz comes out and throws 2 picks on his first 2 passes. And they never crawled out of that hole. And then there were some dubious decisions by Peterson that we talked about last week. So...
And then the only other game we had in the mix, we talked about this on Sunday, was Kansas City, Carolina.
And that was 17-0 at that.
Yeah, so which game? Hindsight, but it started. No, I know. I'm just saying that but at the beginning of that game, we're into the fourth quarter. You're thinking you're dead. Anyway. Yeah. Like, there was so much shit happened in that game that we keep saying Kansas City and Denver can't keep doing, but they keep doing it to win games. So, Denver did it last year, this year.
I mean, there are results that defy all reason to me when I watch them. In that case, I'd bet KC on my own. I was happy, but I didn't pat myself on the back and say, great pick.
No.
I said, holy fuck, you got lucky there.
Well, the Giants are the NFC's version of the Raiders.
Yeah. That's not a ridiculous comparison. I think the Raiders are better, but it's the same kind of thing. They somehow have stolen victory. Times.
The Raiders, 12 points or something was their margin of victory, or their points for?
Yeah, before the Denver game, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think the Giants are 4-1 in games decided by 3 or less points this year, or touchdown or less?
Yeah. Now, I didn't watch that Monday night game because, frankly, Sunday was awesome, and I felt sated on football. I didn't need another game.
I watched the fourth quarter, and the Giants' pass rush just ate them up.
Now, one thing I've heard, like listening to other pods and whatnot, was there a play where Cincy everyone thought they were just going to let the Giants score to leave more time for the field goal, and one guy didn't get the memo?
Yeah, there was a running play to Jennings.
Okay. So that seems to be that kind of year.
No, the Giants scored earlier. Oh, no, I guess there's only about 4 or 5 minutes left when they scored, wasn't there?
Well, again, I didn't see it, so I actually had that question.
But I thought they were letting him score because he ran around and everybody just kind of parted ways, and then he got tackled at about the 10.
Okay.
So, because I kind of thought that too, and the Steelers kind of did the same thing, but they actually let him score. The first one.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, okay.
But I had it on while I was having dinner, but no sound on. I just listen to podcasts now and watch the game.
That's what Mitch does too. Well, sort of related. Did you hear Al's taking a bunch of Sundays off here now?
Why? Because of Tirico? Yeah.
No, yeah, well, because of the Thursday. You know, the NFL, oh, no, when you bought this package, we expected your number one team, which is a brutal workload. I mean, it was the NFL, because, yeah, that's the problem with Thursday night games, is the announcing crew. If you put Al and Chris there, all of a sudden the ratings will spike. But I kind of like this playback. Okay, I'll do the Thursdays because you're demanding it, but I'm not going to be around for the next 3 Sundays.
No, I don't mind that.
I love it.
Tirico's good.
Yeah, Tirico's fine, and Al's, as Simmons always points out, 73. We mock announcers, but if they're good, they're doing a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job. So I kind of like that because it spits in the face of the NFL a bit, too.
Yeah. No, I hadn't heard that, but I like it. So let's get to our winners.
Yeah, you brought up... Well, I guess let's do the terrible one first. We had Houston -1.5. I had expressed reservations about Brock Osweiler. I guess I needn't have bothered. I mean, he didn't crack 3 digits on passing. He ended up with 99 yards through the air.
Yeah, well, thankfully we have Blake Bortles on the other side, which was more of what I was betting on anyway.
Yeah.
But did you see the one pass where he tried to throw it at the guy's feet?
No, I
you
did
know how
not.
when they design a screen pass and it's blown up, and then they just throw it at their feet so they don't get intentional grounding?
Yeah.
Well, he hit the guy in the ankle and bounced up, and the Texans intercepted it.
Now that's a Phillip Rivers move.
The
guy's
on our
never
website
been able to
if you want to
throw.
look it up.
Okay, I will. I mean, Phillip Rivers has never been able to throw the ball away. But yeah, that's pretty classic.
It was funny.
So, even though we had money on it, I was content to just sort of let the score appear on my screen. I had no desire to watch that atrocity.
Well, yeah, as how I watch the Titans now, I can't flip around a game, so that's all I've got. Which was nice for that game because I would have pulled my hair out. Because once they went up 24-14, I'm like, okay, well, now we're safe.
Well, yeah, you said they can
touchdown.
even give up a bullshit touchdown, which they did.
Yeah.
So
And then they just ran out the clock with Miller, I'm assuming.
that would be my guess, even though, or some running back, because Lamar Miller hasn't really performed as people expected either.
Well, that's because they have no pass game. They're taking DeAndre Hopkins is invisible.
But they should have a pass game if they had a quarterback. I mean...
Oh, do they cut him and eat that money?
I would. I suppose they can get out of it without a huge penalty after 2 years. So I might keep him for 1 year, and maybe then you have the luxury to go with a third-round quarterback that you try to develop on the bench or something.
Yeah, they got to do something. Because they're not a bad football team if they had a quarterback.
No, but they can only win in that division. I don't know that they have a win out of that division yet.
Well, they must because they're 6-3.
Oh yeah,
they haven't played 6 games against. But yeah, they were come playoff time. I still think the Titans are the best team in that division. But
I agree. I was going to bring that up when we talk about the Titans and Chargers later in the show. But now let's talk about it. You're going to have to carry most of this because I was having my heart ripped out in a new way watching the Chargers-Miami game. You were watching what most people agree, and you agreed at least on Sunday, was the best football game you've seen all year.
Yes. It was good defense played, big hits, clutch plays. It was the first game I watched Prescott play. I thought he was fantastic. Is he Tom Brady yet? Nope. But when they need a drive, he was putting throws in that veteran quarterbacks can't make. Tight windows. It was fun to watch. And Zeke Elliott is unreal. I knew he was good in college. I didn't think he'd be this good in the pros. He's the best running back in football. There's nobody even close.
This isn't meant to diminish him, though. But best running back with the best O-line. it's got to increase everything about you 30 or 40%,
Yeah. But everybody thought DeMarco Murray was just doing it because of the O-line. He's doing it in Tennessee again. He's not going to get 400 touches, but...
Tennessee has a good O-line, too.
Yeah.
A good run-blocking O-line. In any case.
But they're not
but you saw what... Dallas, but I still think DeMarco in Philly last year was worn out after Garrett burning him out. But
no, that was just shitty offensive design.
It was that 370 touch thing.
No, I think it was Kelly's offense, to be honest. He got
hurt too, but in any case, a running back is his O-line to some degree of blend, right?
Yes, but Chris Johnson was getting holes blown open for him and he wouldn't take them for the Titans.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot to be said for vision and
he has it. And patience, and he waits that extra tick till the hole does open up, and then he just explodes.
Well, and speaking of the other side too, watching Le'Veon Bell, these rules on pot are robbing us of another one of the potentially all-time greats. I watch him run and I'm fucking amazed. Talk about patience. I think he's absolutely brilliant.
But I think Elliott's better, and they both played in that game. They both had great games. You missed the 85-yard screen pass he took.
Well, I've seen it 30 times since then. It's tough to avoid.
But nobody can... he's powerful and fast. I thought the corner had a angle on him, and he didn't have a chance. Because usually those guys get caught at around the 10. That corner was doing a diagonal across the field, and you think, he's got a shot, and no, he beat him by 5 yards. Impressive game from Dallas on the road. Give up the lead late.
And what I predicted in that game, my nervousness, was there are always some dubious calls in a Pittsburgh home game.
Yeah, I was texting you that.
And then you finally had to call me.
Well, the fucking Pittsburgh runs a wide receiver screen to Brown, and their offensive lineman hits the corner before he even catches the ball, no flag.
And he's 7 yards out in front.
They almost pulled...
I saw that one, and I was just livid. I was yelling at Shelley, this is bullshit. And then the announcers finally brought it up after the third replay. It's this is obvious to anyone watching live who knows the rules, right?
Yeah.
But this is another one of the rules that I just don't see enforced much. And Peyton Manning's teams always did
Tennessee,
this too.
we get called for it. We got called for it this year. I'm not joking.
Defending it, but
No, I know. But
I'm
Tennessee
thinking more Peyton in Denver before his arm went noodle-like.
Yeah,
I'd watch plays, and I work with a Broncos fan. I'd say, that play was illegal. He's like, why? I'm going, offensive lineman blocking up field. And we watched the replay, and he's going, that's illegal? Yes.
Yeah, but what fucking game was it? What game was I watching? It might have been last week. They were at the 1, and they called a guy for illegal downfield on an offensive lineman. They were at the 1. And he was in the end zone blowing up a linebacker before they threw the ball, and it's illegal man downfield. And they go, you don't usually see that from the 1. It's no, I've never seen it from the 1. So, and then the Steelers don't get that called against them. And the other call, they almost tore Cole Beasley's. No, that was Beasley.
Oh, was it Beasley? Okay.
Beasley, they almost tore his fucking head off.
And then they face masked on the next play. And at that point, I think the refs had to finally go. It was still there, though.
No, I know, but the only reason they called it is because the ref was standing fucking right there.
Yeah, but you could be in the
top
deck of the stands, and you could have seen the face mask on. I guess it was Beasley. My mistake about waiting.
The second one, if he's 2 yards in either direction down the field, they don't get it. he would have never saw it. It was like one finger in the between the bars on the face mask.
Yeah, and to be honest, when they threw that flag, I said it was a makeup for the missed one, but I think at this point they just realized, okay, if we don't call one of these, there may be an investigation by the government.
Yeah, but that Pittsburgh selling out on that fucking run play, though, made no sense. Like, they were already in field goal range when Elliott scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
Why are you selling out? Make him at least kick the fucking field goal.
Oh, his blocking was gorgeous there.
No, I know, but they had nobody back.
Oh, I know, but I heard an interview with Eric Dickerson this week. It was actually really good. And he just said, yeah, on that play, like, credit to Elliott, he went through it. He saw it, no hesitation, went through it. But that was more O-line.
Yeah.
But he says Zeke is awesome. He's going, I doubt he'll beat my 18 because Dickerson said, I thought I was in the perfect shape. He's going, look at my numbers in that rookie year. Anything past week 12, I'm going down. He's going, you think you were prepared to do a full NFL season, but you've never played more than 12, and you've never played against guys this big and that fast.
But he doesn't get hit that hard. And let's just say this, the conditioning of 30 years ago isn't the same as it is now.
True, we'll see, but we've seen enough rookie walls in the past that I still believe it's a real thing.
Yeah, but when you're not getting hit, like, I don't recall him getting hit hard in that game.
And I can't speak to that because, as I said,
he doesn't get lit up.
Play to play.
I didn't see him get lit up once. Like, you know, they hit the running backs when they just get through the line for 3 yards and fucking this.
Well, he sure got smacked in that Philly game I watched.
I'd like to see him break it.
By the way, is fantastic. He could take the hit and all that, but he did not. It wasn't like he ran through pristine holes and chose when to go down. Though I will say that about him, from what I've seen, he's also smart where he rarely fights for an extra yard when it's meaningless.
Yeah.
He will go down, and that usually takes 2 or 3 years for a running back. To recognize when a yard matters and when it doesn't. Yeah,
but he came in and he's having such a year, he doesn't have to try and impress by fighting for that extra yard.
But it's kind of in the mindset because, like, I think back to Tomlinson, who did that for 2 or 3 years and actually spoke one offseason. He said, I'm learning now. Sometimes it matters. Most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah, on first down, getting popped 3 times by linebackers doesn't really pay.
Exactly. All it does is increases your chance of fumbling.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's...
that speaks to his maturity as a football player.
Yeah. When Witten got face masked there, I was just thinking, get on the fucking ground. You got like 25 seconds left and 1 timeout.
And it turned out to be 15 yards.
Yeah, but I'm like, because I've seen him, look at Benjamin in the Carolina game, fumbled like that.
Yep.
Fighting for an extra half yard when it was meaningless. So I was just like, just get on the ground. But it worked out. We cashed.
Okay, I was kind of shocked. This is, we'll move on here in a second, but so when Barry ripped that ball out of Benjamin's hands, he punted it into the stands.
No, that wasn't Barry. That was somebody else. Barry returned the pick for a touchdown.
Oh, I think Barry ripped it out too.
No, it was a different kid because I've been seeing tweets about him.
Okay.
That he might be the best corner in football now. Plays with passion and all that. So I'm assuming, I didn't read the articles, but I'm assuming it portends to that kicking the ball into the stands.
Okay, so I'm just looking foolish here. But in any case, I thought that was 15 yards. which would have been huge. So that's a delay of game.
Yeah, but celebrating
miming
touchdown.
a bow and arrow after a touchdown is 15. Priorities are really messed up.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be changed.
Oh, well, yeah, they're going to drag out anything that puts focus on the players and not the owners. All right.
But who thinks of that, though? That's like, I get being hyped up, spike it, spin it, fucking, I don't know. I guess we only let defensive players celebrate, though, now. Defensive linemen.
Well, no, the bow and arrow was Josh Norman.
Well, was that because he plays for the Redskins and it's considered racist?
Then he should be allowed to do it.
Well, when the D linemen, though, when they get a sack, they can fucking do their shimmy shake fucking for 10 seconds.
Yeah, rope them up like Jared Allen, the old rodeo play.
Yeah, do the fucking gravedigger thing with the shovel, mime the shovel thing. I don't know. I've given up trying to figure out what they call, what they don't call.
Well, I still stand by my theory that these celebration rules are to protect the fragile egos of the billionaire owners. It just makes them so pissed off, so that's a priority.
Well, I don't know. I think it's more to do with the corporate white America that's paying all the money in sponsorship and advertising. They're the ones that don't like it. But they're the ones that don't like it. No, they don't.
I still think it's on the owner.
No, because how many national...
Something that gets my blood up, even if I like it, when the play goes against my team and a guy is celebrating, nothing gets my blood boiling faster than those celebrations. And I'm thinking the owners are the same, and that's what they don't want. They want the person to put the ball down on the goal line and meekly go back to the huddle.
No, I know. No, but that's corporate America, because how many... Odell Beckham Jr. is one of the best players. If you want to talk about stars, he's one of the biggest stars they have. And who has more fucking national advertising? Fucking Peyton Manning. He's not even in the league.
Yeah.
It's the corporate sponsorship that they're protecting. Because all of football is black. 80% of it is black. So the owners don't give a shit. They're protecting sponsorships. It's the same thing the NBA did with the dress codes and getting rid of the do-rags and the fucking all that shit. It's all it is. Protect the image for corporate America, because they're all owned by white fucking men who don't want to look at it. Don't want to see the headline of being Billy White Shoes Johnson's touchdown dance. And that's where it started with the Houston Oilers. But, so they just don't want it.
Yeah, again, another off-season topic.
Yeah, but okay. Let's go on.
You know what? I think it's that time.
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time. A nasty slate of games, Boyd.
I don't like any. I'm even contemplating betting Thursday night.
No. Well, I'll tell you right now, I refuse to waste thought or time on Thursday night. I am taking the home team and the points, which, by the way, worked for me again last week.
I'll take it too.
I should, I guess, just bring this up. Last week, you went 6-7-1. I went 8-5-1.
Think.
And weirdly enough, the office pool I didn't play in, I would have won this week if the spreads were the same.
Oh, you would have went 5 for 5?
No, not that one. Just the big office, old music industry pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the winner won at 8 and a tiebreaker. And in that one, I would have gotten Cincy because the line in that pool was Cincy plus 2.5. So I would have gotten 9. But water under the bridge. You never expect to win with 9 in a 50 or 60 person pool.
I'm interested in the Thursday night game for one reason. See how New Orleans bounces back from getting fucking standing on the sidelines thinking you got to win and then losing it on a blocked extra point returned for a safety rule, which just came into effect, I believe, this year, wasn't it?
Last
year. Because before it used to be a dead ball.
Yeah.
We would add overtime. But they need to get rid of the rule that allows them to jump over the center.
Why?
Well, why can you jump over them, but you can't touch them? You can't block the center.
It's because people were jumping on them and using one foot as a plant.
No, that was always illegal. That was always illegal.
Yeah, I know, but that's why you can't touch them. But if you can hurdle the guy, why not? That's just a great athletic play.
No, get rid of it.
Fair enough, and they probably will. But
I don't
rip
like it.
the NFL all the time.
It's not a football play to me. Timing a snap and jumping over the line.
Well, yeah, because the center is always. I can't believe that centers aren't paid more on the O-line. Because to accurately snap a ball, particularly with all the shotgun now, and then get up and make a block, seems ridiculously difficult to me.
Man, Pouncey was doing it with a fucking broken finger. That he had surgery on earlier in the week for Pittsburgh.
But I do want to say this. The NFL got this right. Changing the extra point and allowing that 2 points to matter, whether it's the jump or a pick on a 2-point. For once, they made rule changes that I think have actually improved the game.
Well, no, I like the extra point being moved back, so it's not just a gimme anymore, because it affects strategy. It affected the Steeler game. I like the fact that fucking Carroll went for it against the Patriots to go up 2 possessions late.
Yep.
You've already got 7. Fucking 9's better than 8. I thought that was great coaching, and everybody's questioning it after. I'm like, well, no.
You know who didn't really question it? Belichick.
Belichick, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I said this last week or the week before. If Belichick thinks it's a smart move vis-a-vis football, it probably is.
Well, and the only, you're trying to take the pressure off your defense and essentially end the game there.
Yep.
Right? It's no different than going for it on 4th and 1.
No, I love the move.
To me.
I love the move.
Me too.
So that's all I wanted to add. It's an interesting question. This is far and away the most interesting Thursday night game of the year.
Yeah. Well, this is Carolina's season. They got to win out to have any shot. And even that might not be enough.
I don't even think it's enough.
Well, but they could still win their division at 10-6.
Possibly.
That's not. Well, Atlanta. What's Atlanta now? 5-4. Nobody's running away with
3,
it.
I think, but I could be wrong.
So there's nobody running away with that division. They're not out of it. They've played better football the last 3 weeks. The defense is playing way better. I don't think you're going to see what New Orleans did to them in New Orleans. Let's put it that way, when we bet on Carolina.
Yeah. All right. To the Sunday games. Arizona +1 at Minnesota. 2 teams. Which one falls faster?
Well, we know Arizona struggles on the road. Minnesota's lost 4 in a row.
And San Francisco did something that worries me as a David Johnson owner. Finally, people have recognized that Carson Palmer is not good. He's done. They put 8 or 9 guys in the box virtually that entire game. People have now reached the point, or even the Niners have figured out, dare Carson Palmer to beat you.
All he has
after that is
Fitzgerald.
And Fitzgerald's a little banged up. I mean, he's one of the greatest. But I do not want to bet this game. I will tell you that
they're almost a 2 shitty team rule here, and Minnesota started 5-0.
But yeah,
now 5-4.
For weeks, David Johnson had been saving that Cardinals team. And San Francisco, one of the worst teams in the league, finally figured out, all right, we will do absolutely everything we can. Like, remember how you used to key on a running back with a linebacker? I swear they keyed on him with 2 defensive linemen and a linebacker.
Well, not surprising.
No, and it's smart. Carson Palmer seems incapable of doing anything.
Well, what happened to, like, they were going deep last year. They were hitting all kinds of big plays. Yeah, that game.
He got delomed, man. That collapse in Carolina last year. I mean, and really, look at Palmer's career. His rookie season was good until Kimo Van Oelhoffen broke his leg. Has he ever been better than an average quarterback since then?
Well, he had a good year in Oakland. He had a couple of good. That last year in Arizona, he was really good.
Yeah, okay. I was accepting that one. It's just like all I'm saying is last year was the aberration, not this year.
Yeah. Well, no, you called it at the start of the year. You thought Arizona was in for a tumble because of Palmer.
But so I'm very nervous about Arizona's chances. I don't think they make the playoffs for sure, but can Minnesota do anything? Because it was announced today that Patrick Peterson will do the shadow on Diggs.
Well, and they have nothing.
And Diggs, by the way, he's a complimentary receiver. I love the guy. But if they put Peterson on Diggs, what does Minnesota do?
Well, they can't run the ball. Any word on Peterson coming back from Minnesota? I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't heard a whisper. Not a whisper of a rumor.
I don't know. I'm going to take Minnesota here just on Arizona's struggles on the road.
And Minnesota has been, well, until Detroit, they'd been solid at home. Fitzgerald's injured. I'm going to take Arizona still.
And they cut Blair Walsh today or yesterday.
And that's about, what week
9
are we
games
in?
too
11? Yeah, I would have given him 2 to bounce back, but he didn't.
No.
And there were a ton of Minnesota
the Lions
people in
game.
Vegas. They were cursing him in that first game against Tennessee. I mean, one of those was a long kick, but one of those he shanked brutally.
Missed an extra point. Yeah.
That entire state may rise up and murder him.
So give me the Vikes.
You got the Vikings. I have the Cardinals. I'm not comfortable with it, but... Okay, next game up. Baltimore +7 at Dallas.
This might have to be in the mix.
Yeah, but do you like it?
Oh, I don't mind it.
I'm not crazy about it simply because, like you said, that was a tough physical game. And, like, this feels like a letdown game.
No. I don't think... No, not this Cowboys team. That offensive line can play anywhere. When you have a good offensive line...
It's Romo has accepted his role. This feels like a classic fucking trap to me. At 7 points.
I don't think so. Like, I looked at the board. There's not a lot there.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
And we've thought Baltimore was a fraud all year. And we're coming to realize they play in a shitty division, too.
Holy crap.
Where they're getting their wins.
The AFC North is not... They're better than the AFC South?
Not by much.
Yep.
They're a shitty division. Cincy's not good. Pittsburgh's average.
I don't think Pittsburgh's very good either.
Well, that's why I said average.
They're 4-5, and honestly, they could be 3-6.
And it used to be when Roethlisberger had games like he had on Sunday, they won those games. They're not winning those anymore. Their defense isn't getting stops when they need to.
Everyone's... They were so excited about Brown and Bell, and, you just heard my opinion on Bell. I think he's awesome. But has that offense really scared the hell out of you, except in that KC game?
Well, though, the Sunday it did when they got the ball back with 2 minutes left.
That was soft prevent against what I think is a poor Dallas defense. I'll put this in the mix, but 7 points is a lot to lay.
There's nothing.
Well, we'll see. We're just on game 3.
I know.
So I'm starring that as in the mix.
And I'm trying to find a fucking...
This year, laying 7 is a terrible idea.
Well, I'm trying to find games...
I know, but I'm just saying, almost no one can be counted on to win by a touchdown.
Yeah, Baltimore's got Steve Smith and no running game. I don't know how... And I can't see them stopping Elliott. Or Bryant.
I mean, it's been an underdog year, but like seriously, who do you trust with a touchdown? Dallas
this week against Baltimore.
Beat Washington by 4. Dallas lost to the Giants by 1. Dallas, how many, I'll go through here a bit as we talk, but Dallas hasn't beaten. They beat Chicago by 14. They beat the Niners by 7.
Yeah, but what week was that?
That was week 4. I'm just saying, just presuming that Dallas will have their way with people, I think is dangerous. Laying 7 is dangerous this year. This is the year we should be trying to find underdogs.
Well, I can't even find those this week that I trust.
Yeah, okay, but it's in the mix. I mean, we might not find anything better, but I would love to avoid laying anything over 3. Oh, and by the way, did you not shit your pants when it looked like Pittsburgh might win by 1 and we took them on the money line?
Yep. Because didn't I say it?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
That's why I'm bringing it up. Now watch it. Pittsburgh will win by 1 and we'll lose our bet.
I was just thankful that they scored with 40 seconds left to give us a shot.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
With only needing a field goal after 4 missed 2-point conversions. I don't mind trying it, but at some point you got to go for the extra point.
No, I mean, mathematically it says, but it's a question.
You can't chase it. You can't chase it. They were chasing it that whole game trying to make it up, and they didn't get 1.
Yeah. Which is statistically weird. But on the other hand, they were something like 14 of 18 over the last 2 years in 2-point conversions. So I'm not really even going to fault Tomlin, who I think is
after
overrated.
2
but I'm not really going to fault him for doing that.
No, but after 2, just kick the extra point.
Okay.
Your kicker kicked the longest field goal in Heinz Field history that game. I think you could trust him at 33 yards. But that might just be me.
Okay. Next up, we have Buffalo plus 2.5 at Cincy. Buffalo's coming off the bye. Ryan with Buffalo is 1-0. I actually don't mind Buffalo here.
No, it's one of the few underdogs that I feel has a shot.
Cincy is reeling. And they look like a team that's coming apart at the seam. What do they do well? Nothing. Fuck nothing.
No. I don't know what's happened to their defense.
Well, we talked about Carson Palmer and the playoff hangover. I would say Cincy's should be worse.
Yeah.
They had fucking Pittsburgh. They had them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it only goes to 99% when you see those win probability. That had to be 99.97% win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a truly epic collapse. I think Marv Lewis has finally lost control of this team. Everyone's talking about how Darrell Revis has fallen apart. Take a look at Pac-Man Jones, who'd been a damn solid quarterback for years. He can't do fuck.
No, I mean, no, and here's the one thing. The cheapness of Mike Brown is biting them in the ass again. They let all their secondary receivers go, and they have nobody opposite.
That's a great point,
A.J.
Boyd.
Green.
That's a great point.
Like, he had, 68 yards and a TD against the Giants?
And the TD came in the first 6 minutes. And it was from the one.
Now, I know they didn't have Eford for most of the year. He's just come back the last couple of weeks. But they still need another wideout to take some of the heat off of Green. And Tyler Boyd isn't doing it.
Oh, God, no. No, though, I mean, I'm not writing off Tyler Boyd because he's a rookie, but he's certainly not, he does not replace Sanu or Jones or either one of them.
No. And didn't they have Gabriel?
I don't know
much
about
Gabriel.
No,
he was Cleveland.
So
he was in Cleveland.
Okay.
He was Cleveland, sorry.
But
yeah, they don't have any secondary help. So, and the running back situation is...
The fucking Giants ran a bit against Cincinnati, and they have no rushing game at all. LaShawn McCoy, he's had another week, and he came back after his injury and was effective.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on Buffalo.
Okay, that'll be in the mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Next game up, we have Chicago plus 7.5 at the Giants.
I don't want to touch this one.
No, fuck no.
The Giants win every game by 1 to 3 points.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to lay it. I mean, I think they shouldn't be favored by 7.5. If I think Dallas shouldn't be favored by 7, I certainly don't think the Giants should be favored by 7.5.
But Chicago just got beat by 30 by Tampa.
Weird bounces in that goddamn game, but...
I'm not advocating betting this game, but I'm just saying that's why the line's where it is, but...
Yeah, plus the Giants get so much action each and every week, in and out. I think you can, just because people love to bet the Giants, you can take 2 points off any spread to get to an accurate spread.
I'm still taking the Giants, though.
I'm going to take Chicago. I do not think the Giants are 7.5.
No, the one thing the Giants have this year, their pass rush may not be great. They have good secondary.
And I will go the other way and say Chicago's secondary may not be great, but that defensive front is generally pretty good.
Yeah, I don't... Jeffrey got suspended for 4 games. They got Eddie Royal and fucking, what's his nut?
Cameron Meredith.
Yeah. That's the receiving core. They're getting nothing. Meredith had one catch for 50 yards on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. They scored the offense scored 3 points without a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Give me the Giants.
Fair enough. But this is an absolute definition of a stay away for me. I want nothing to do with it. Okay.
No, I don't want it either.
Next up, we have Jacksonville plus 6.5 at Detroit. Fun number. And I'm sure everyone's heard it. Detroit has been behind in the last 90 seconds of every single one of their wins.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
You hadn't heard that?
No, that's a good stat.
It's true. They did not have the lead in the final minute and a half at some point in every single victory they have this year.
Yeah, I don't want to bet this game. Jacksonville seems to hang around enough to fucking get that shit-ass late cover like they did against Houston. Or not late cover, but late touchdown against Houston.
Yeah.
I could see Detroit being up 10 with
time.
3 minutes left. Yeah, Detroit will be up 10 with 3 minutes left, and Jacksonville will score a touchdown. And Allen Robinson will go to the Pro Bowl with the 70 yards he gets the last 4 minutes every fourth quarter.
Well, Blake Bortles won't be going to any Pro Bowls.
No, they'll cut bait on him this offseason.
And he's developed such a reputation as a lazy ass that, who knows, he might be quarterbacking the Saskatchewan Roughriders next year.
Well, they might have a shot then.
Well, yeah, he'd probably be an upgrade, but...
Yeah, but give me the Lions.
You're laying 6.5 on the Lions.
Yeah.
All right, brave man.
Well, their defense has played pretty good this year.
I kind of like the Lions.
I think they're getting healthier.
But I don't think they're they're almost a touchdown favorite. So I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay, next up, we have Pittsburgh minus 7.5 at Cleveland.
Let's not discuss this game much. It's a shit game. Only Steelers fans and Browns fans are going to watch it. Because they have 27 games in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah.
This will be a kitchen sink game for them.
I didn't want to do it, but I probably could have been talked into laying the points with Pittsburgh, but I didn't want to.
Well, we can if we don't find anything. I don't have a problem with that. The Browns.
I'm going to put it mildly. It's just Pittsburgh has to win this game.
Yeah, and the Browns
have looked.
They've lost.
They were
their
feisty.
spunk.
Yeah, they were feisty. They were plucky. We came up with a bunch of 1940s adjectives for them or adverbs, but they've lost that since then. And I saw it in that Dallas game. I said to you previous to last Thursdays, I said it on the podcast, I'm just going, no. It's the first time I've seen all year that Cleveland put in no effort. And even then, they were leading Baltimore at the half, and they pulled their quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you've pretty much. So they're in a competition now with the Niners for the number 1 spot. Like, this is the most blatant tanking I think we're seeing.
Well, I don't even know if it's blatant tanking. They're just a shit organization. I don't even know who you could bring in to turn that around.
Well, they brought in all those fucking sabermetrics guys, those baseball guys. They did a nice job trading all these picks, but here's the thing. You've got to pick up players at some point. It's not like baseball where you have all these farm systems to develop people. This is where what the Cubs did with their organization, that it allowed them to develop great players and have assets to move and still have good young guys. Not an option in football.
No.
People have to play right away. Like, I think that's the big disconnect between
like who could you
what
bring in though?
Can do and what football can do.
No, I know, but who do you bring in? Like, even if you got rid of all the sabermetrics guys and brought in like people that have had success, who's out there that you could bring in? That you would think that would take the job, one, with the ownership there, and two, that they would get the patience and the time to do it.
Well, that's what they proved in my epic drunken rant, where they completely fucked it up by firing the guy in week 15. You're right.
There's nobody out there that you could think would be like the Cubs got Theo Epstein, one of the best baseball minds of a generation. Who's out there?
Yeah, there are no front offices. Like Belichick's a one-man show. When he is gone, that organization, I do not think has a structure that can continue, right? You've seen all of his assistants, all of his administrators move on based on their success, and they have all failed epically.
Seattle's the only thing I can think of if they got anybody in the front office, because they seem to find guys.
And part of that, I think, is Pete Carroll is underrated.
Yeah, but a lot of the coaches, they get the scouting reports, but they're not watching tape. They've got something in their scouting department, GM, something that's finding these guys that other teams are missing.
With the exception of quarterback, Denver's doing a good job, but right now that's Elway's show. Now, on the other hand, I mean, it may take 21 years, but maybe Jerry Jones is right. You just keep trying to build an O-line, and eventually it'll come to you.
Yeah, but then but he can say that because the rookie quarterback he drafted is good.
They did, however, draft them. I think it's shocking to him.
Oh, I know. I know. But I'm just saying, like, you still there's some element of luck, because they weren't expecting Dak Prescott to be 8-1 this year. Like,
no.
Like, when you take a quarterback in the third round, you're not expecting them to start.
Their most fervent hopes and prayers were that Romo wouldn't miss a game.
And they're set for, I said it last week, they're set for, how long is the rookie contracts? 3-4 years? 5?
You got to start paying them decently, but they more or less have them locked up for 5, as I understand it. So,
okay. But
though that O-line's going to start to demand money.
So you can, give this a light tap. We might have to take that.
Yeah, I put the star smaller beside it. Okay. Next up, we have Tampa Bay plus 7.5 at KC. I want nothing to do with that either.
No. I think KC wins the game.
Yep.
I think they'll stifle Winston.
But they didn't impress. I mean, I was happy to cash my bet on them, but
Carolina's
as I said, I didn't pat myself in the back.
No, but Carolina's
I felt like a guy who dodged a bullet. Carolina's
defense is playing. I'm not saying anything about Carolina's offense because it's not playing any better, but their defense is back to where it was last year.
Alex Smith looked terrible, and not in the usual dink and dunk terrible.
Yeah.
If he tried to throw the ball more than 10 yards, he was looking at like an 8-yard window. It was over, it was under, it was left or right.
Yeah, no, I'm not comfortable laying 7.5.
No, he looked awful. Like, I think I said to you, he might still be concussed. Oh, wait a minute, the team denies he was ever concussed.
Oh, I'm going to hate myself for making this pick, but give me Tampa Bay.
I'm taking the Bucks, too.
It's just too much for Kansas City.
I'm riding dogs like a madman this week, but which is probably an overreaction, but okay. Next up, we cannot bet this one. Tennessee +3 at Indy. I bet your team the last time you played Indy, you're better than these fucking hacks.
I know, I don't know what it is about Andrew Luck. We should be able to sack him fucking every other pass play.
Now, we didn't talk about the Tennessee game from last week, so I skipped that part. So why don't we bring it up now? Your team absolutely curb-stomped the Green Bay Packers. It was delightful.
And even though they gave up, which isn't too encouraging for this week, they gave up 370 yards passing. Green Bay couldn't run the ball.
Well,
the first quarter was the game. We started it off, which I still don't get, with an onside kick that we didn't get to start the game, and then pulled every trick out of the bag to get. We were up. Was it 21-0? I think at one point, and I still had to sweat.
Up so fast, yeah.
And I still had to sweat because they got it to within 9 at one point.
Oh, you're acting like a Chargers fan. It's like,
well, dude, Aaron Rodgers was fucking tearing us up. Aside from the first quarter, they had 21 yards offense in the first quarter total. And he ended up with 370 in 3 quarters. That's what scares me about this game. We've never been able, doesn't matter who's coaching defense, we've never been able to stop Andrew Luck. We've never beaten him.
That's what you said when I bet your team the last time. You're just
We've
saying
never
Andrew Luck is some sort of hex upon you.
And if this is the Titans' playoff chances right here. If they lose this game, there's no hope. And 10-6 isn't getting you in.
I truly stand by my opinion that you are the best team in that division. We discussed it in a preseason podcast that maybe the notion of building your team on a rushing attack was not stupid. Like, everyone was mocking the exotic smash mouth. And you and I talked about it, and we said, well, is it not maybe a good idea to zag?
Well, yeah, everybody loads up with nickel and dime packages now to stop the pass.
Yeah, and they're building their team on that. So you get a good O-line, a run-blocking O-line, and a couple of power backs. I think you're on the right track. I really think your team is good.
We just have to stop Andrew Luck some way, somehow. For whatever reason, we've had them down. Last year, they were down like 10 or 14 going into the fourth quarter, and they somehow find a way to win in Tennessee. I will say this about Mariota. That running game is a quarterback's best friend when they're young. Because he's lighting it up the last 3 weeks.
Oh, he's crazy.
They've scored over 35.
Didn't he have 4 touchdowns last week?
Yeah, they scored over 35.
And DeMarco Murray had one, though. So
yeah.
No,
it's been crazy.
Now, your defense has backed off from what I thought they were.
Well, no, we sacked Rodgers, I think, 4 or 5 times and still gave up 370. Our corners suck. So,
well, who's your safety?
We got that dink from fucking Arizona Wilson.
Because he was... Again, I only saw highlights, but he did not look good.
No. If we don't get in the quarterback's face in 2.5, 3 seconds, we're getting lit up.
Now, that said, with Casey, like, your front four should be able to manhandle this O-line.
Well, that's what I thought the last game. against them, and we didn't do it. We gave up 32. Wasn't it 32-26?
Oh, it was a bad score. I do recall that. That
we
said,
gave up a lot of points.
In this game, like, do you have anything more you want to say about the game except that beating the ass off Green Bay had to feel good? Like,
it did, but when you think about games like that, you wonder what happens in games like Indy. And who else have we lost to? Fuck, a lot. Oakland, where we did nothing against a team that had no fucking pass defense or has shown they have not very good pass defense. Houston. Well, Houston, we put up points. We couldn't fucking stop them. It was the first quarter in that game that cost us that one. We couldn't cover a tight end. After the first quarter, fucking Houston did nothing. I think there was a defensive touchdown in that one that caught. Well, there's where we've lost the games.
Yep.
Chargers game, Texans game was a fucking punt return for a touchdown. Mariota's turnovers against Minnesota, Oakland. So if he's been clean. So he's clean.
Second year still too. I think your team's getting better, and
he's not taking the hits
even right now.
He's not taking the hits he took last year either, which is nice to see.
What was that fumble? It was on that ridiculous
the fucking option play against the Chargers.
Just tear that page out of the playbook.
Well, that's what I mean. Exotic smash mouth. Well, then just give him the fucking ball.
Yeah. You've got two good backs. I think they're both healthy now. I'm taking Tennessee in this game.
Me too, just out of spite, because this is the season. I got to be behind them all the way.
And I'm probably going to bet them as well because I'm the guy, I guess, who sticks his hand in the fire twice.
Well, and
I was convinced you would beat Indy that first time. I'm still a little bitter about it.
Take the over.
That's a good call.
It's 52.5. Take the over. Tennessee scored 35, 45, 46, and 36 or some fucking thing like that in the last three games.
Chargers
take the over.
Defense is light years better than Indy.
Take the over. Well, yeah, why'd we only put up 26 against him? As long as Mariota stays clean with the turnovers, we should be fine.
Okay.
It's a big if.
Next up, we have Miami minus 1.5 at the LA Rams. Here, I really like Miami.
Yeah, me too. They're starting Goff. And the reports are coming out that the Rams coaching staff isn't even sure he's ready.
There's that. That Chargers game, yeah, I mean, it's injuries. It doesn't matter why. And now I'll talk briefly about that Chargers game.
Yeah.
That was the Chargers game. Rivers had a complete collapse in the fourth quarter. It was brutal. Now, that's going to happen to every quarterback sometimes. But because the Chargers had pissed away the first 5 weeks of the season, we had no room for error. We couldn't have this kind of collapse. And with the cycling injuries at receivers, there were so many plays where the quarterback and the receiver were doing completely different things. And this affected everyone, from Gates to Henry to Tyrell, Inman, like everything. That said, Rivers' interceptions were just fucking inexcusable.
Well, the last one especially.
Oh, no, actually the worst one was one of the worst fade passes, you know, my favorite play in football.
Yeah.
To the corner of the end zone, where we punted, they muffed the punt, we took over the ball in the 3. We gave it to Melvin Gordon once, then 2 passes, and one of them was a corner fade because, yeah, we have the receivers who can win those jump balls in the corner. That's the first thing people say about the Chargers is that wide receiver core is awesome. It was just atrocious, and just watching 4 interceptions in the first quarter. It's Football Outsiders. fourth quarter. Football Outsiders made a Chargers loss bingo card. Horrifying ways to lose a game. And it showed all the ways we've lost a game since 2006. And pretty much every square is filled in
now. We'll see. Can they lose one like New Orleans did?
No, that wasn't even on the bingo card because that was kind of unprecedented. But
no, I know, but I'm saying
one they had that wasn't filled in was blocked field goal returned for a touchdown. I'm going, wait a minute, that happened against Philly. Oh, but that was Drew Brees at quarterback, so it's not on the current card.
Yeah, they've fucked away a lot this year.
They've fucked away a lot this decade. Because this started in 2006. But I recommend the bingo card to anyone. It's on Football Outsiders. They actually say Chargers lost bingo. I recommend it. It's hilarious. But you understand why now all these losses just roll over me. I'm so used to them. No other team has anything like this on that sort of history.
No.
That said,
I like your Dolphins pick.
Okay, I just want to add one thing about that, too. Watching the Dolphins, never seen a game like this from Tannehill.
That's what I was hearing after it, too.
Charging right into his face, like 6 inches from impact. He dropped a 30-yard pass into the breadbasket. He dropped... And these were perfect balls into good coverage. Deep. Never seen him play like that before in my life. And with pressure in his face. That's the part that makes it special to me, was it wasn't like he had a clean pocket for 3 yards and just had to throw a ball. He had to be a fucking man back there.
Well, it's funny how a running back will give you confidence at quarterback.
It helps.
I told you that like 2 or 3 weeks ago. You told me I was crazy. But it makes a huge difference. They did it against Tennessee. Run the fucking... I said it after they got beat by Tennessee. They haven't lost a game since. Run the fucking ball. They were gashing us, and they fucking kept throwing it.
Sounds interesting. Well, like, we held Jay Ajayi to 89 yards.
Yeah.
And most of that was on 2 chunk runs. I don't even think it was that. He matured. Or had a great game. And by the way, on most of these, it wasn't like the coverage sucked either.
No, I know. But I'm telling you, when you fucking on your ass, he was getting sacked at a fucking alarming rate. But when there's a threat of a run, it slows that down a half second.
Oh, he still got banged up and took it.
Oh, I know. But but when you're saying he's throwing with a guy 6 inches from his face, when there's no threat of a run, that guy's in his face. And that ball's probably picked off. Yeah.
Anyway, he impressed me, and I believe it's the first time I've ever said that about Tannehill. It was still the Chargers game without the turnovers, but it wasn't like Miami didn't deserve the win either. They did enough that they deserved the win. I'm fine with it. Okay, next up, New England minus 13 at San Fran. I'm not laying 13 points on anybody.
No, not bad. But the way... I know Kaepernick's not.
New England has absolutely zero fucking pass rush.
And will they be able to, if Kaepernick wants to run, will they be able to get to him? And believe it or not, Kaepernick the last few weeks hasn't been terrible.
No, if I didn't have a quarterback, he's a good streaming option in any fantasy league. Kaepernick... He still throws the ball too hard. He still hasn't learned how to throw a touch pass. But all the things that you liked about him in those early years, they're still there now.
It has just needed somebody to bring him out of him again.
Well, and we talked again in the offseason that he would be a good fit in a Chip Kelly offense.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if it says more about San Francisco or Arizona about that game last week. If Arizona's just bad or San Francisco's getting better.
I don't think San Francisco's getting better. Because they faced a one-dimensional offense.
Yeah, but Gronk's not playing.
Yeah.
Edelman looks like a shell of himself. Amendola's an afterthought. Hagen didn't catch a pass.
No, it's Hogan.
It didn't catch a pass that I can remember against Seattle. They don't have a run. They don't use a running game.
Like New England against Russell Wilson, who isn't perfectly mobile yet. They were rushing 2 and 3 players.
And guys were still getting
into
open.
Coverage. Yeah. And I think Kaepernick's just going to tuck it and run. Like, this is going to look like a college game.
Yeah, give me the Niners.
I'm reluctantly taking the Niners too.
Well, I'm not doing it with great confidence. If you told me to bet this game, somebody gave me $20 to bet, I'd put their money on New England. But
I think everyone was just anointing New England.
Well, I hadn't watched them play.
Really, really, really fucking bad defense.
I hadn't watched them play all year. It's
a bad defense, and everyone's talked about every other team with wins. Oh, they beat this team. Let's go back and look at who New England has beaten. Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
No. You got Pittsburgh without fucking Roethlisberger.
Yeah. Best team they've probably beaten is Buffalo, and Buffalo beat them once. Without Brady. I mean, Brady's awesome, but no, their defense is atrocious.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we have Philly plus 6.5 at Seattle. I'm staying away from Philly till I at least get one without betting on them.
I think that's too much.
I agree.
Like, they only beat New England with that shitty defense by 7.
Philly has a pass rush. McKelvin, who I talked about last week when we took Atlanta, and I thought Ryan would feed. It was McKelvin, by the way, who gave up that Gabriel touchdown. But Ryan suddenly reverted to only looking at Julio. Did Sanu have a catch in that game?
I couldn't tell you. And I don't understand the Seahawks getting rid of Christine Michael yet. I'm assuming Rawls is healthy enough now, and they're going to go with Procise and Rawls. But he was averaging 4 yards a carry.
There's a reason they dumped him last year. We went to Dallas and they dumped him. They said he was the woke one, or whatever they said. He went back to his habits. I fear for his future, put it this way.
Okay. Well, he got picked up by Green Bay.
They, of course, insisted that it had nothing to do with off the field. But off the field is the only thing that makes any sense.
He was productive for them.
Yep. Very productive in weeks 1 through 5 or so.
But I do like Precise. He looked pretty good.
Third down back. He looks like Giovanni Bernard a bit to me.
Oh, he rushed for like 70 or 80, and they didn't rush the ball that much. He had a pretty good game. He's got a future.
Him. Yeah, exactly. Giovanni Bernard is one of my favorite players. He's not a great fantasy player, but he's one of my favorite players in football to watch.
He'll work really well in Seattle, Precise.
I think so too, but he's more a third down pass catching back. He's not big enough to take the punishment. Rawls must be ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, I still think it had to have off field, because why would you put a productive running back on the waiver wire when they are the most precious commodity in the world right now?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It's too much. I'm taking Philly.
Me too.
Not to win the game. This is a pure cover bet.
Yeah.
I think Seattle wins this.
Philly could win that. I don't know how Wentz will do. If he turns the ball over, Seattle probably covers. Couple of picks by Wentz, and the Seahawks will cover.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going to have to be clean.
Next up, we have Green Bay plus 2.5 at Washington. I do not really want to bet this.
No.
Unless you have a strong argument. Okay.
No, but I'm taking Washington.
Me too.
After watching Green Bay is rudderless right now. Rodgers is taking veiled threats at the coaching staff and his teammates and everything else. And then he comes out today and supports McCarthy after he says, everybody's got to look in the mirror and be fearful for their jobs. And I said, well, that's easy. I put a post up that it's easy to say when your job's not in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you look in the mirror? Fuck. Every pass that he threw went incomplete. He looked like an NBA player looking for a foul. Fucking hands up by his side, up by his shoulders, like, what the fuck was that? Should have been a flag, or what route did you run, or some fucking thing wasn't his fault.
Oh, and the receivers were the same way. Like, I've seen that from a few teams. You notice the winning teams don't, well, except for New England. They were begging for a flag on every play in that game. But, no, they seem confused, but they still have enough talent that I could see them.
Marlon, they're not confused. There's McCarthy's lost the team. Rodgers isn't bringing them together like he did before for whatever reason. I don't think there's much leadership on that team coming from anybody.
Yeah, McCarthy saying, I've had a great deal of success is not usually the best way to keep your job.
Well, that's begging for your job. That's like the hitman in the mafia with the
best way to do it.
No, but that's like the hitman in the mafia movies with the gun to the back of your head as your fucking hands are tied to behind your back. That's what that seemed like to me. It's basically like, let me keep my job, please.
But there's zero free agency. Their whole concept of this is how you build it. They lucked into Favre. Well, no, actually, they didn't luck into Favre. They ended up with Favre followed by Rodgers.
They lucked into Rodgers.
And I think they're going to be the team that we look back in history the same way we look at Mike Ditka's Bears. This team only won one Super Bowl. That's going to be what we say in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, but when you think about the talent they had, should they have won more than one?
Yes.
Like, the defense hasn't been great.
No, but it was very adequate for a team that was putting up over 30 a game. Like, that's what I mean. We're going to go, they only won one, which is better than the way people could look at the Chargers with their talent in the mid-aughts and go, this team never even went?
Well,
you know, it's better than that, but I still think we're gonna look at Aaron Rodgers' career and go one.
Yeah, well, that's all Favre won.
And the same thing. That team had so much talent cycle through it and didn't do fuck. All right. So we're both on Washington on that?
Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Well, I think Green Bay's bad. We saw this coming.
Oh, I know, but I still... Like, I told you on Sunday that we both took Green Bay over Tennessee without hesitation last week in our picks.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about betting it, and honestly, Sunday morning, I just thought, no. We've been on the fact that Green Bay is vastly overrated and not very good for a year now.
Yeah, we called it. We went 10. How's Green Bay winning 10.5?
Yeah. No, and even going back to last year, and I just thought, no, just fucking stay away from this team until they actually prove something. And the final game of the week. Houston +6 at Oakland / Mexico City. Now, I want to stay away from this.
Me too. I don't like neutral
reason,
site games.
Altitude.
Well, altitude, and they're in Mexico City for a week. Somebody made this point. I don't know if it was Simmons or Sal or somebody I read or listened to was saying about them fucking can't go anywhere locked in your hotel room because it's not safe. But altitude's a great point.
The altitude's the big thing. I looked it up today. It is a
horrible.
third higher than Denver.
Yeah.
And we've talked about teams getting gassed in Denver. This is another 600 meters. That's thin. And the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Yeah. I'm still taking Oakland in that offensive line.
Well, and the reason I'm doing that is, it's because Houston has to rely on defense. It's not wildly speedy. Oakland's a faster team. Smaller and faster. I'm taking Oakland, but I'm not touching it.
No, and Osweiler. 89 yards against Jacksonville.
99, I believe,
or
but
99.
I could be wrong.
Oh, maybe he got 10 late.
You could be right at 89. Nothing would surprise me. But yeah, I want to stay away.
Okay, give me Oakland.
We both have Oakland. All
so
right.
What do we have in the mix? I think we only have one underdog.
We have Dallas, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Miami. So we are going to take Buffalo.
Yeah. So we got Buffalo +2.5 at Cincinnati. $10, I believe, is going to pay $20.50.
Really?
Yeah, it's -105. Oh no, 1952.
Okay.
Better than nothing.
Yeah. 1909 is our standard.
Yeah.
Standard vig.
Booked. Okay, I really like Miami.
Me too.
Especially with Goff starting.
Yeah, I think I just started with Miami. They impressed me. And they still have so much to prove to even get to a playoff spot. But that team impressed me. The Chargers should have won that game. But Miami did enough that I'm not ashamed that we lost. I know, I love Miami.
So we have Miami -1.5 in LA to face the Rams. $10 pays $18.69.
A lot of public money on Miami.
Okay, so
we've got Dallas,
Steelers,
Baltimore. In either case, we're laying 7 or 7.5. I would rather pick on Cleveland than Baltimore.
That's exactly where I was going to. Even though we're given an extra half a point.
Plus, Dallas is in the driver's seat. Pittsburgh is desperate.
Yeah. Only thing that scares me about Pittsburgh is the way they've looked on the road this year. Hasn't been pretty. Miami, Baltimore. They've only scored at home.
I understand it. They're home away splits, but Baltimore, Cleveland, we saw what they were last week.
I think Roethlisberger's streak's up to 7 or 8 now. Games in a row at home, he's throwing 3 touchdown passes.
Oh, wow. We've discussed the officiating, but Cleveland...
Yeah, we have to go against. That's the only reason I'm going with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Is Cleveland. So Steelers minus 7.5, $10 pays $19.09. Done.
All right. Quick summary. We have Buffalo plus 2.5 at Cincinnati. 10 pays $19.52. We have Miami minus 1.5 against the Rams. 10 pays $18.69. And we have Pittsburgh plus 7.5 against Cleveland. $10 pays $19.09.
All right. If you want to check out the podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any updates to our blog posts or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd. Facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to send us an email, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And those were our picks for Week 11.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Generous fucking gambler.